we go. JonBenet Ramsey, part 2.
2. And here we go.
And it's several days later because we wrapped up the other night and we're like, all right, we've been already at it for 5 hours?
We were at it for a while.
Yeah. So we decided to do it today on St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
We're having a little Guinness.
Clink.
And some green cupcakes with little rainbows.
Yummy.
You know, the traditional Irish feast.
I have a unicorn ring now.
Ah.
Did you have the green? Yeah,
I had a green one.
Green.
Are my teeth green?
Nope, not at all. I had the vanilla.
The vanilla?
With white frosting.
I just figured I'd have to eat a green one since it's St. Patty's Day.
I thought you might say something that I'm not wearing green.
I'm not wearing green, but my eyes are green.
I have green, don't I?
That's what I used to always, that was my go-to. And they'd be like, you're not wearing green.
Sometimes I have more brown than green. Sometimes I have more green than brown. Depends on how much shit I'm full of. Silly.
Anyways, so I went over in part 1, we basically just went over the whole timeline and all the basics and the whole family theory.
I mean, just go listen to part 1.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Let's just get over this real quick. I think my computer is just now catching up on some text messages.
That's probably what it is. Alrighty.
And go. Okay, so JonBenet Ramsey. So, like you were saying, you covered the main part of it.
Right.
I'm covering theories.
Okay. Aside from
the parents, although they might come in here a couple times, but I'm not talking in depth like you did.
Okay.
My information, a large part of it, came from Rolling Stone and ABC's 2020. I just want to get that out of the way.
Okay.
Also, one more thing, just in case anything comes into play on here, the disclaimer, I don't know if I'm going to talk about it all, but I want to put it out there. We're in no way, shape, or form accusing any of the Ramsey family because we don't have any proof of it.
Right.
Okay.
We mentioned it on the last one too.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, but your internet is making my page go crazy. So, although the police were strongly leaning towards the parents for this horrific crime, Boulder County District Attorney Alex Hunter, however, was convinced of their guilt. He was really hardcore. Did you watch a lot of those interviews where he was just like, he didn't want to look at anybody else. Right. He was just... He
thought he had his person. So
he did.
He was just like...
So did that detective, though, that lady. She really, eyes. She really thought the way we looked at each other, I knew.
Right.
I knew who it was. But she never actually said Mr. Ramsey.
Right.
She just was like, I knew.
He knew. Heavily implied it.
Yeah. However, wait a minute. Alex Hunter, however, wasn't convinced of their guilt. He was dead set on them for their guilt.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Anyway, he wanted to explore other theories, is what they're saying in this thing. But if you watch, so that one thing I watched the night that we recorded, what the detectives and reporters and all of them were saying was completely different than what they would say in another interview. They were totally contradicting themselves. Anyway.
I mean, the point is that they fucked up the investigation from the get-go.
From the beginning.
Not securing the scene.
Right. But 3 months later, after JonBenet's death, he's the one... Okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, just because he brought in Smit. Why don't I have his full name here? That's terrible. I just have Smit. I know I wrote his... My stuff got all messed up.
Lou Smit.
Lou. Okay. So he brought in Lou Smit, and he quickly began reviewing the evidence and finding potential leads that the police and the public had overlooked or dismissed. Lou Smit, and I might repeat this, I might have to oops, I already said this, but he's from Denver, I believe, or Colorado Springs, or somewhere in the surrounding area. But he was a renowned detective.
Right.
He came out of retirement for this. He
Right.
had solved hundreds of cases, and he was well respected and just excellent at his job. So it's almost like if Lou said it happened, if Lou said it was like this, it was like this.
Right.
Is how most felt.
They said that he had like a great attention to detail.
Yes.
And he was very much for the victim. He wasn't like playing for anybody's team except for the victim.
Yeah. And I believe like he was really good at seeing things that other people just didn't, and he could read a room,
Right.
you know? And so I think that, have you ever been around people who they're like, this person's such a liar, they're always a liar, never believe what they say?
Yeah.
And then that liar will say something about you.
Right.
And that very person that told you not to believe anything
Will
they say
believe them.
totally believes them.
Right.
That's how I feel like everybody's like, he's amazing. He's an awesome detective. Attention to detail. He solves hundreds of cases. But now he's contradicting what they want, or he's saying
Their
like,
pet theory.
right. And changing what they want to see.
Right.
And
They want to close a case.
they do, but
And they have egg on their face already from
right.
the
They don't
get-go.
want to look stupid.
Yeah.
And so they don't, so now they're like, no, your theories are shit.
Right.
They don't mean, no, that can't happen. That can't happen. That would, no, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, if they would have just listened to him, I bet the case could have been closed.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know if he quickly began reviewing the evidence and finding potential leads that the police and the public had overlooked or dismissed. I'm pretty sure I said that.
Right.
This is in quotes. It seemed as though the parents were probably involved, Smit said in video diaries.
Right.
I'll get into this, but before he died, he had hundreds of cassettes and video diaries that he left behind of this case. He had worked on it until he died.
And he had his son create a database, right?
I believe so. I think I get into that, but
Yeah.
I think if I don't, then yeah, he got his children and grandchildren involved. So I mean, he was dedicated to solving this case until the day he died. Mm-hmm. And so he made a lot of these video diaries, and I'll be quoting a lot of stuff I think out of them. But he said in this video diary, I thought this was going to be a fairly easy case. I thought it would be a slam dunk. And I even remember talking to my daughter. I kind of joked with her saying, if somebody did get in that house, it must have been Santa Claus coming down a chimney. Funny that he says that.
Right. Considering some of the suspects.
Right. But as Smit began to investigate the case, he started to believe that the police should actually be looking at a possible intruder. So this now were intruder theories. He pointed to an open window, which I think you might have gone over a little bit, in the basement, but photographs showed cobwebs on the window that would have likely broken had someone snuck through. I can't buy into that theory, but the window is a rectangular shape. And at first the police were like, there's no way anybody could fit through that. So he's like, watch me. So he demonstrated himself going through it. And they're like, well, there's a spider web right there. And clearly, if somebody went in that window, it would have knocked out the spider web. And I knock down spider webs all the time and go back out there even hours later, and they already have a new one built.
Right.
They rebuild their webs.
Yeah,
very
they're pretty quick. They're
So,
fast.
I just can't buy into that theory that wouldn't be there. Even, I mean, this is days later, so why wouldn't it be there?
I had imagined that they broke the window just so that they could unlatch it and open it, but I'm not familiar with what the function of the window was, if it actually opens.
I think it opens up. But regardless, even if it was just their plan, I mean, once you get in, it's easy to get out.
Right.
So they just need to get in.
Right.
Maybe they didn't have a plan at all.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean,
But
because if
then
they
there's
had a
the
plan,
note.
they wouldn't be using Ramsey's stuff to write a note.
Right.
They would have taken the note in, especially that lengthy of one.
Right.
That's my theory. But
Well, and they never found the other part of the
paintbrush?
paintbrush that was used as the garrote.
Yeah, I just think that if it was so well planned out, they wouldn't have been using the items there. They would have brought their own.
Right.
Anyway, although if it's a spider web, spiders can quickly rebuild their.
Oh, they do. And they do.
They do. So, okay, so this is what... Who was Garrett? How come I didn't put that down? He must be one of the detectives. So he said, the big question is, could you have gotten through this window, this small window, without disturbing the cobweb? Garrett said. And then he said, I think the answer to that is maybe. But the important point is, how soon was this picture taken after JonBenet was killed? Because spiders can replicate webs very fast. And that's kind of what I was just saying. Like, we don't know when that was taken, so we don't know how fast that spider rebuilt the web, because they didn't even think of that. So one of the things that police found was that shoe print that said high tech on it.
That was right next to her body.
JonBenet's body. And it did not match. Again, I watched some things and it did not match any of the Ramseys' shoes. I watched that other thing and they're like, well, Bert Ramsey, is that his name? Burke. No, not the brother. John. He had a pair, but he didn't. Nobody had those shoes. It was not like it was a common, especially for those kind of people.
Right.
It's not like they're the outdoorsy type.
Right.
Anyway.
Unless it's like skiing or something like that.
I think, yeah, because it's an outdoorsy type. It's a heavy duty boot.
Right.
So anyway, it was near her body. No one in the family owned the shoes from that brand, as well as the 2 marks on her face and her back, which Smit decided from what he saw, which I think you kind of talked about, I'm not sure, were from a stun gun.
Right.
And he actually found like the model of stun gun that matched.
That would have made
her.
That. Yeah. They were trying to say that the train track, when they were trying to put it on Burke.
Mm-hmm. Like it could have been from the train tracks, but they showed those in one of the documentaries and they don't match. Like the stun gun matches. And then some people were like, have you ever seen somebody get tased with a stun gun? Like they don't pass out. Like, why would they use that on her?
Right.
Well, it does disable you for a while. So maybe she got it twice and she was a little girl. So maybe it would have been strong enough to knock her out.
Right.
I mean, it does affect your heart and stuff. We don't know why. I mean, why'd they use a garrote on a little girl?
Why did they use a garrote and
a stun gun?
I mean,
why any of that? Why was any of that done? It was
and
very
hit her
excessive on a 6-year-old that you could easily overpower. So none of it makes sense. So why'd that happen? Maybe they were just torturing her. That's what it sounds like. You know, they tortured her with a garrote. Like they said that it looked like she was still alive when she was being choked because they could see defense, like she was trying to pull it off.
They found some DNA in her fingernails too. That wasn't hers.
That also.
Right.
So, I mean, one of the things I saw, they were like, once she got hit on the head, that was it. But I actually saw an interview with the, my God, I cannot think. Pathologist?
Oh, okay.
And he was like, we don't know what came first.
Right.
We don't know if the head trauma or we don't know what killed her.
Yeah,
first.
because one of the theories out there was that she got hit in the head and there wasn't a lot of bleeding. So they thought that was, because it came after she died.
Right.
And then.
Like, was the garrote, was her strangling her not working? So then.
They hit her. I don't know. None of it makes any sense.
Right. And so they don't know what killed her. So why would they use a stun gun? Who knows? And what's the effect of a stun gun on a 6-year-old? Who knows? I don't think anybody's tried it except until now.
Anybody want to volunteer their kid?
No. So, quote, there's no reason at all for the Ramseys to use a stun gun. And the Ramseys don't have a stun gun, Smit recorded himself saying at the time. He also says, if it's not a stun gun, what is it? That's the question I always ask. In his video diaries, Smit pointed out that whoever wrote the ransom note included language that was drawn from several movies, and which some people, and I don't know if you even said this, but some people in podcasts and stuff that I was listening to were like, John Ramsey was really into these movies.
Mm-hmm. I heard that side.
I didn't hear any of that. I mean, except for in those things. What I heard was whomever was responsible was a hardcore movie watcher. But they were like, he even had movie posters in his house. I'm like, I doubt his wife would even allow that. And I don't remember seeing movie posters in his house.
No, he just had, in his collection of movies, he had those movies that had that.
I
but
mean,
who didn't at that time?
Did, yeah. So, all right. He noted the similarities to the kidnapped drama Ransom, which had been playing in Boulder at the time. In that particular movie, a fat cat industrialist, his son was kidnapped. Oh, they showed this in the documentary. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
It was eerily
similar.
Yeah. There's a lot of the same
except
verbiage.
that the son lives.
Yeah, well, he even had the tape on his mouth.
Yeah,
it was weird. Same verbiage in this note was in the note that was written in that particular movie. It's just weird.
Right. And then the don't grow a brain, John.
Yes. The note said, "You are not the only fat cat around," and also included other lines that were similar to the dialogue from films like Dirty Harry and Speed. Smit also, this dog.
Which is like, okay, I'm sorry. I don't think that Patsy Ramsey was going to recall that stuff when she was writing that.
No. And something else, I think I even sent you, like there's a handwriting specialist, and she came up with like all these hundreds of similarities and all these letters. And they had her on this 2020 episode that I was watching. And then come to find out that she wasn't even allowed to present her evidence because she lacked qualifications.
Oh, yeah. We did talk about that. We did.
So it's like, dismissed.
Right.
Like, to me, that's just a wannabe handwriting specialist then. Smit also spoke about the DNA evidence that police had found underneath JonBenet's nails. Oh, and in her underwear. Oh, he spoke of that in his video diaries. He said that the evidence, quote, was not something that was made public for quite a long time. An analysis found that it didn't match anyone in the Ramsey family. Okay, can I just say something? That even recently,
right?
Because, DNA has come a long way now. And so I cannot remember who it is that's trying to get this sample of DNA. But last I heard, Boulder police are not cooperating to release it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're just like,
I heard the same thing.
They've asked several times and they've tried to get, like, why won't they just release
this? What's in the rope from the garage?
I don't know.
Because they haven't tested that. Because they were talking about that when you're making those specific kind of knots, that you would leave.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Skin cells for sure.
Yeah. Leave DNA in there. Mm-hmm. Unless this person was wearing gloves the whole time.
It doesn't sound like I mean.
Well, they didn't find any other fingerprints or.
No, that's true.
I mean, that would have been a lot of backtracking. Well, that's true. But
I mean, they were more like, oh, is that some DNA on her underwear and her long johns? And, Right. And then everything got so contaminated. Like even pulling that's another thing. So that very detective that tells the story about John Ramsey.
I think it was Detective Arndt.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
And she says he then throws a blanket over her and contaminates it even more. But in that documentary that I saw, it made it sound like she wasn't the only detective there and that they witnessed her put the blanket. They witnessed her put the blanket over JonBenet.
Interesting.
The stories just are very. I swear, if I didn't know any better, I'd say Boulder police did it, but that's just silly.
What was she having him search the house for specifically?
Supposedly, she said, "Hey, why don't you?" And that's another thing that in the one that I saw where it was actual detectives that were there, it's actual reporters and stuff talking. They didn't say it like this, but supposedly she says that she told him to why don't you go and do a once over, search the house again from top to bottom.
Right.
But he went right to the basement. Right. To that area.
Probably because, oh no, never mind. This is before.
But then when the detectives in the documentary that I saw before I came, and they're all telling the story, they tell it completely different. Like, a lot of people were checking the house and that he had disappeared for a lengthy amount of time.
Isn't that like
and then
the
he
same?
Comes back and...
Like, you could have 5 people witness the same accident and none of them are going to have the same story.
Yeah, but these are pretty drastic. Like, was she alone or wasn't she?
Right.
Like, were there 10 of you in the house or was she alone?
I know, because...
Was there one at the door?
Some of the documentaries that I watched made it sound like it was just her.
Yeah, and she's never done homicide before.
Right.
And then they were talking about, like, him leaving, like, John, and you even said in your thing, like, he had left for a while. And then there was one point where that even made my stomach drop.
I was thinking, like, that time that he left, maybe he went to take a shit. Like, maybe he was
maybe he went in the bathroom to cry, because he's not he doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve.
Right.
He's very together.
Right.
And professional and private. You can tell.
I mean, they literally got up and hit the floor running and had people in and out of their house from beginning to end. So it's like they didn't really have Alone time.
Who's to say he didn't just go in a bathroom or a bedroom and let out all his feelings?
It was a pretty big house. He was unaccounted for like an hour. I doubt it was an hour.
I doubt it. May have felt like that.
Right.
But I doubt it. Anyway. All right. So, where was I? Investigators weren't able to find anything incriminating during the Ramseys' interrogations. I just watched their interrogations. I don't know how I missed that. Smit's daughter, so Lou Smit's daughter, Cindy Mara, said the interviews firmed up his beliefs that the Ramseys had nothing to do with it. And this is his quote on his tapes. I'm not saying parents don't kill their kids. Parents do kill their children. But the police are trying to say Patsy did it. Their actions before, during, and after JonBenet's death are all consistent with innocent people. They didn't do it. That's what Smit said in his tapes. As the investigation continued under Smit, he became concerned that authorities had totally ruled out the possibility of an intruder. And therefore, we talked about this, they weren't looking for the possibility of that even being, that even being in the realm of possibility.
Right.
Okay, in this quote, I thought there was something drastically wrong and that there was gross injustice in this case, Smit said in his tapes. I had seen evidence of an intruder in that house that night. With his intruder theory regarding JonBenet's murder increasingly pushed by the wayside, Smit ultimately chose to resign from the case. He wrote a letter to the Boulder District Attorney, Alex Hunter, is that what we said? Mm-hmm. So this is what his letter, even though I want to continue to participate in the official investigation and assist in finding the killer of JonBenet, I find that I cannot in good conscience be a part of the prosecution of innocent people. He said, it would be highly improper and unethical for me to stay when I strongly believe this. I love that he stands by his convictions.
Right.
But even as he stepped away from the official role, as we know, he continued to push for justice for JonBenet. And let's see, when Hunter called for a grand jury, this is another shit show. When Hunter called for a grand jury to assess the evidence in 1998, 2 years after JonBenet died, they listened to Smit's intruder theory. But like the police, the jury didn't believe someone could have entered the window with the cobwebs remaining intact. Jonathan Webb was one of the grand jurors. So on the 2020 thing, I don't know did you see this part?
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did.
This Jonathan Webb said that Smit's intruder theory didn't make sense for him. For someone to get through a small window like that and not disturb the cobwebs would be remarkable, he said. I think this is the juror that, because they were asking, so who do you think? Do you have an idea of who you think it is? And he kept saying, I know who it is. But again, he wouldn't freaking say a name.
Right.
So that's just like that detective. But we made eye contact. Well, say his name.
Exactly.
Say. If you think it's John Ramsey, say.
You're pretty much saying it without saying it.
So freaking say it. Like, none of them are actually, they're just, to me, that just sounds ridiculous. But anyway, the grand jury ended up accusing both John and Patsy Ramsey of unlawfully, knowingly, recklessly, and feloniously permitting a child to be unreasonably placed in a situation which posed a threat of injury to the child's life or health, as well as rendering assistance to a person with intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the discovery, detention, apprehension, prosecution, convictions, and punishment of such person for the commission of the crime. So putting your child to bed at night, tucking them in, is like putting your kid in danger, evidently.
Yeah.
So that's what they're saying. But although your food smells really
doesn't
yummy,
it smell
though.
delicious?
Mm-hmm. But although the grand jury may have believed one of the parents was culpable, that was their way of saying, we think one of you did it. We just don't have enough evidence to say it. And the other, they think that one of the parents was culpable and the other helped. They couldn't say who did what.
And all this they were basing on the bedwetting.
Right.
That they couldn't prove either.
Yes. And this stupid okay. Oh, here's something else that's bugging me. On this, everything else says Burke had the pineapple milk. Their theory is he had the pineapple milk and JonBenet stole a piece and it caused an argument, blah, blah, blah. They said they know the mom knew of the pineapple and milk because her fingerprints are on the glass and stuff. Well, she does the dishes. She puts shit away. Her fingerprints are going to be on everything. But they never said anything from what I saw about JonBenet's fingerprints being on the bowl or the glass or whatever. It was the brother and the mom.
Right.
But this one thing that has all these detectives and everything, all of a sudden now...
It's because it was in her system.
She had a piece of undigested pineapple. And now on this thing, they're saying, well, why would the mom lie about giving her daughter a bowl with pineapple milk in it? And how wouldn't she remember feeding her child a snack? And their whole thing is they carried her while she was sleeping and put her to bed. Like, that's it. She wasn't awake. And then Burke was the one that had the pineapple, and nobody ever said the only thing with the pineapple was she had a piece that was not digested in her. Nobody ever said anything else about it. Like that they found her fingerprints on the spoon or the bowl, or it was... And even on the Dr. Phil thing, they questioned Burke about it.
Right.
He ate the pineapple.
Right.
There was an argument. He ate it. So that's another thing. Like, he clearly said he had the pineapple and milk. Like, it wasn't, what is wrong with me?
Because it's getting warm in here.
Okay.
I mean, isn't it possible that if there was an intruder that had been in the house, that got in while they were away, went up there, brings her downstairs, is trying to coax her down. There's already this pineapple sitting on the counter and is trying, here, have some pineapple. Yeah. Like, just trying to calm her down.
Here, I brought you a snack.
Yeah.
Come have a snack. Yeah, why not?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. What if it was Santa Claus
and he's like, I have a present for you and I want to have a snack with you.
They said the house was heavily carpeted. He would have been able to take her downstairs. Who knows?
Who knows? Anything could happen. All right. But although the grand jury may have believed one of the parents was culpable and the other helped, They couldn't say who did it, and Hunter ultimately announced that they did not have sufficient evidence to file charges against the parents. In the following years, wow, I messed that. I made it one.
It all happened at the same time.
Smit continued to look at the information he had on JonBenet's case and compiled it all into a database. That's that database.
Yeah.
He believed the answer to the identity of JonBenet's killer lay in the DNA found in her underwear and underneath her fingernails.
Right.
By 2008, new DNA testing technology had been developed called touch DNA, which allowed forensic experts to test dead skin cells left behind on objects at crime scenes. Mary Lacey, she was now the district attorney of Boulder at the time, decided to use this new test on JonBenet's pajama leggings. And the result came back positive for at least one unknown male's DNA, possibly even two, but not the parents.
Right.
It's an unknown male. It was after this test that Lacey wrote a letter to John Ramsey, stating that her office does not consider him or his wife Patsy or anyone in their immediate family to be under suspicion for the death of JonBenet. And this pissed people off, especially the previous county attorney.
Right.
And
Alex Hunter.
Yeah. And some of the detectives and stuff were just like, what is she talking about? Right. But I think she did the right thing, to be honest, but what do I know? Okay. The team referred to the database.
I'm enthralled. I'm just listening.
The Smit had created and began narrowing down suspects. Ooh, here we go. Among the names on the list were Gary Oliva.
Oliva, yeah. I can't tell looking at him what the...
I know, it's Oliva. And he was a homeless man who frequented a church less than 2 blocks from the Ramseys' home. So he was, they call him the Drifter. He was a 32-year-old man, a known sex offender in Boulder. When JonBenet was found strangled to death in what looked like a potential sexual assault, given that there was a droplet of blood in her underwear, the convicted pedophile had been living in the area on and off when police allegedly found him. He had a magazine cutout of JonBenet Ramsey in his backpack after he was apprehended on drug charges in 2000. He was soon released, but suspicions remained. The Ramseys' longtime private investigator, Ollie Gray, once referred to Oliva's ties to JonBenet as a bombshell arrest. In the case, he basically said Boulder police fucked up.
Right.
For failing to consider him as more than a credible suspect. Soon after, Oliva's high school friend, Michael Vale, stepped forward with the allegations supporting Gray's suspicion. Vale claimed that not long after the murder, a distraught Oliva had called him on the phone and confessed to his longtime pal that he may have heard a little girl. I heard a little girl. Vale revealed to In Touch magazine earlier this year that he was particularly unsettled by how the knots used to fashion the garrote that strangled JonBenet were similar to those used in an incident where Oliva attempted to choke his mother with the telephone cord. Did you know that?
Hear that one? Yeah.
Quote, my blood ran cold when I read that, recalled Vale of his troubled childhood friend.
How did they end up ruling him out?
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Okay. Oliva was also rumored to have possible connections to a theory that linked the marks found on JonBenet's body to an encounter with a stun gun. Oliva had one on him at the time of his initial arrest. What?
What?
So, well, he too was cleared by DNA testing. He was recently charged with 2 counts of sexual exploitation of a child for possessing child pornography. He was last reported by the Denver Post to have been arrested in June. This is not June of this year or anything. I think this is more like 2018 or something like that. And he was held on a $100,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in court. So DNA ruled him out. That's it. But that's not even, to me, I'm thinking that's the older DNA. I don't think that's the updated, because the police aren't releasing the newer DNA. So I think he's a good.
Well, and they're still trying to, I think it was Smith's family, are still trying to get them to test
More
the
DNA.
rope from the garage.
Yeah. Yes. They're still. I wonder if I talk about, I don't know if I talk about that part. So
I think I heard that on a podcast where they were interviewing the daughter.
Oh, okay. Bill, did you listen to the girls?
The
twins?
Or
no, not
granddaughters?
Twins, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill Mcreynolds, a man who dressed up as Santa Claus for Christmas parties at the Ramseys' home for 3 years, was also investigated. But let me tell you about him first.
That's Santa Claus, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Santa Claus is creepy to me.
This is really creepy. Bill Mcreynolds.
They're both creepy.
Santa. He is now deceased. Wait till you hear this. Was a friend of the Ramseys. He played Santa for them for a few years. He had dressed up as Santa the week before JonBenet's murder to entertain the neighborhood children at the Patsy's famous Christmas gatherings.
Right. Did you know she put a Christmas tree in every room in the house?
Yeah. And here's the thing. When they're like, how would anybody know the layout of her house? First of all, she had this gathering where it was kind of an open door. Anybody could have walked in. And she did a full-on detailed video tour of her house.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, while an older man dressed as Santa makes a pretty good perp in a sexualized child murder, the possibility that the now deceased Mcreynolds had anything to do with JonBenet's death is extremely unlikely. But hold on. Mcreynolds was rumored to have paid a little too much attention to JonBenet, going as far as to arrange a secret visit from Santa Claus on Christmas. He basically told her, I have a special gift for you. And he said he wanted to have a little special
after Christmas.
The day after Christmas, I think. That's awfully suspicious.
Yeah. What about the glitter?
No.
Are you going to get to the
yes. glitter? Supposedly, he had chosen JonBenet to be his special friend, going as far as to bring a vial of glitter gifted to him by the 6-year-old with him into heart surgery. Even stranger, he asked his wife to mix the gold glitter in with his ashes.
That's just
when he died.
Weird.
This particular story generated buzz in the Denver Post, but failed to amount to anything more than sensationalized character assassination of a friendly old man.
Okay, poor guy for the character assassination, if that's true, but the glitter thing's just kind of just weird. Super fucking creepy.
I mean, yeah. I was a teacher, and I love it. It breaks my heart if you just throw something away that the kids made me. But I don't think I'd want to be buried with anything that.
Well, he wanted her glitter mixed in with his ashes.
No. And just FYI, he was eliminated by DNA also.
Okay. Well, and because the DNA isn't conclusive, that doesn't really eliminate anybody.
No, because they won't release it. The up-to-dated one. All right. Now we have the teacher. In 2006, a former school teacher, John Mark Carr, confessed out of the blue to the 1996 strangulation of JonBenet in graphic sexual detail.
Oh my God, this guy has issues.
Mm-hmm. Carr was arrested in Thailand, where he'd been living on the lam after facing child pornography charges in the U.S. Now, the now 51-year-old initially brought himself into the mess by reaching out to the University of Colorado Boulder professor named Michael Tracy over email in regards to a documentary Tracy was making on the case. Once those emails took a disturbing turn, how quick did that happen, revealing the grown man's sexual fascination with JonBenet, Tracy reported Carr to the police, who arrested him in Bangkok. Bangkok, how appropriate. As a possible... Sorry, I'm 15. Sorry. Okay. As a possible suspect, he was immediately flown to Boulder for questioning, but was ultimately cleared after his DNA failed to match the profile of an unknown male found on the waistband of JonBenet's long johns.
Didn't he have a picture of her in his wallet?
Oh, I'm not done.
Oh.
I thought I was.
I'm sorry.
No, I thought I was. And I was like, I don't know. Carr's demented confession involved a series of diary entries allegedly written from the scene of the crime. In one dramatic account, Carr recalls strangling JonBenet in a love game gone wrong. Close your pretty eyes, sweetheart. Okay, reads the excerpt in which Carr repeatedly refers to himself as Daxus. Daxus loves you so much. Oh, God.
What is Daxus? Stop.
I love you,
Stop
JonBenet.
it. You're getting... No.
And my lover's eyes are slowly closing. Disgusting.
Gag.
Carr's alleged involvement...
I'm supposed to be eat my corned beef and potatoes right now after we're done.
I'm going to be so hungry after this. Just kidding. Carr's alleged involvement broke international headlines, and his earnest insistence on having killed her was enough to set off a media fiasco. However...
We've talked about this. These people that just admit to shit that they didn't do.
Oh, I know. It's insane.
Insane.
But the details and the weirdness. Ugh.
Obviously, he fantasized.
I mean, no.
Hopefully, they took him off the streets just based on that.
Well, they did. He was in. Let's see what happened to him. However, he was ultimately dismissed. Oh, as a suspect. He was ultimately dismissed as a suspect altogether and written off as a pedophile who was after notoriety and fame. Officials also failed to verify that he was ever in Boulder. According to a 2010 report by the Daily Beast, the one-time suspect is now living a new identity. He's
my
living
God.
Happily. And,
are you serious?
No, get this. A new gender in the Pacific Northwest.
What the fuck?
Wow. Okay. He's probably up to no good.
Probably.
Just before I read this next one. Well, actually, before I read this next one.
Unpopular opinion, but can't we find these people and just medically castrate them?
You know, I don't know if we mentioned this last time, but they actually even thought, guess, what do they always say in these weird unsolved murders? The Zodiac Killer.
Really?
And you know why? The way the note was signed. The SB, whatever. They said that's how the Zodiac Killer signed notes. The acronyms are something that he would call himself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Somebody had said it was Saved by the Cross or something like that.
Yeah.
I listened to this podcast that they had a whole bunch of different theories of what that meant.
Yeah. Well, there's another one that could have meant one of these guys, I think it's the teacher, had a sweatshirt that had those on it.
Oh.
And it belonged to the college that he went to. Mm-hmm. And the rowing team or something. Mm-hmm. And it's those very same.
It's just, the whole thing is bizarre. The whole letter is bizarre. It's fucking long. But the whole victory SBTC at the end was just
weird.
What the fuck? Mm-hmm. And then you killed her. At the end of all of that pomp and circumstance.
The way they kill a 6-year-old, it's a torture killing. It's weird. Anyway, okay. Now, this one, the housekeeper. they had a housekeeper named Linda Hoffman Pugh. She had worked for the family as their housekeeper, and her husband, Mervyn, was their handyman. So they knew the house. It wasn't surprising that she was known to carry a key to the home. So that would explain entry. And during the investigation of JonBenet's murder, Hoffman Pugh didn't even begin to fit the profile the police were after. White male, former convict, 25 to 30 years old. But she didn't hold back on voicing her suspicions that Patsy Ramsey had accidentally killed JonBenet. Funny, hardcore start pointing the finger at the mom. That said, Patsy claimed to investigators that Hoffman Pugh was struggling for money and had asked for a loan of several $1,000s, which Ramsey had declined. Police showed up at the Pugh's home that night after the murder and asked the 57-year-old housekeeper to write the number $180,000 on a piece of paper, and reportedly took her fingerprints and several strands of her hair. She then testified in front of a grand jury for a total of 8 hours, including a statement against Patty that read, I'm sorry, Patsy.
I hear.
I know the snoring. That read, I think she had multiple personalities. She'd be in a good mood and then she'd be cranky. She got into arguments with JonBenet about wearing a dress or about a friend coming over. I had never seen Patsy so upset. The Hoffman Pugh theory asserted that the housekeeper led a trusting JonBenet down into the basement that night in an attempt to trick her employers into leaving money for her ransom. It's possible that she could have seen John Ramsey's pay stub for $180,000 as a holiday bonus and chosen, and that's how she chose that as her demand, which I think we discussed that earlier. Familiar with both the home and the family's schedule, Hoffman Pugh makes a convenient suspect and without an alibi. She was asleep in her bed while her husband allegedly slept on the couch. There is room to speculate she could have been involved. So far, all evidence implicating her in the case is circumstantial at best, and she has never been formally accused of the crime. The evidence against her is stronger than the evidence against the Ramseys.
She also knows her way around the house.
She knows her way around the house.
That JonBenet would have trusted her.
It would make it feasible for her to try and frame Patsy.
Right.
Sounds like she doesn't like the woman very much. Yeah. I don't know. And her husband could be in on it because they need money.
Right.
And he's the gardener. Okay. After 13 years, Smit still believed that an unidentified intruder was responsible for JonBenet's murder. But he was running out of time. He was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2010, but even as dozens of people visited him each day to pay their respects at the hospital and later in hospice, he never stopped talking about JonBenet's case. According to his other daughter, Dawn Miller, that's what she was saying. He just talked to everybody about the case. His daughter Mara, said that before his death, while he was still in the hospital, he told her that he wanted someone to keep investigating the case. He just said, this is her quote, he just said, I want somebody to continue this case. Please don't let it die, she said, and he asked me to write down a name, and I did. I got a pen and paper, and he gave me a name. And he said, start with this name. But she doesn't say the name. Mm. It's so frustrating. Smit died on August 11th, 2010. Mara said that after his death, her family teamed up with some of Smit's former homicide partners to keep investigating the case. We will share in common is that commitment to fulfill Lou's dying wish that this case doesn't die with him, said John Anderson, a friend of Smit's and former sheriff of El Paso County, Texas. I think it's that devotion and respect, that love for Lou, is what keeps our team moving forward. They are, oh my God, I'm getting chills. Anderson said that the team narrowing down Smit's list met with Boulder authorities in September 2020 to present the list of their top 20 perps in the case. Whoa, my thing just went crazy. Mara said she doesn't believe at this point that they are actively investigating this case.
Even though it's an open investigation.
They swear is an open, it's not a cold case. They are keeping it open. They swear that they are still investigating, but they're not
the
being very
time is
cooperative.
running out.
If you're not going to look into it, let these people do it. I'm pleading with Boulder police. Let these people do it. When 2020 reached out for a comment, the Boulder Police Department said there is still an active case, ongoing investigation into JonBenet's murder. However, the department has never publicly commented on its handling of the case. Bullshit, if you haven't. I could pull up a few YouTubes of your people actually commenting on the handling of it.
Right.
From the past, or the mishandling of it.
Well, and then there was all that, infighting between...
They just don't want to look bad.
Departments and between them and the DA's office.
So this is Mara. It's her daughter. So Smit's granddaughters, Mara's daughters, are the ones that they're like the next generation, and they're the ones the podcast I told you, Victim Shoes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I actually listened to some excerpts of that today.
I mean, there's 3, or at the time I listened, they have, 3. They might have more by now, but they're short. They keep them at 15, 20 minutes long. And she says, my daughters will continue on with this case when we end up being too old to do it. She said, this is Mara speaking. She said, but we are not going to stop investigating. We're just going to do it. In the aftermath of his daughter's murder, John Ramsey went on to lose his job and claims he spent millions of dollars on private investigators, lawyers, and security, while JonBenet's half-brother, John Andrew Ramsey, said his father has remarried and is focusing on his life. He also said their fight for justice on behalf of his half-sister is not over. The family has not lost the will to fight and the will to find the killer. John Andrew Ramsey said, we work on this daily. There's a group of dedicated volunteers that work on this daily.
Well, and they don't want that speculation to follow future generations either.
No. They said the family has not lost the will to fight, to find the killer. I already said that. I think it's really important for people to understand that this case can be solved. He went on to say this guy sounds really intelligent when you watch him talk. He's an intelligent guy. There's a narrative out there that this is an unsolved homicide and that we just have to accept that as a fact, and that is not the truth. If we leverage the evidence, we follow the facts, we will find this killer.
I think it's just, to me, it's kind of crazy that there's so many unsolved murders out there and so many children that are killed under suspicious circumstances over the years. But this case is just captivated people's... Well,
some of it, I mean, listen, she was this little beauty queen. Right. Her mom would dress her. I think that was part of it, is people just had a huge problem with that. I do. But
they let that overshadow the actual facts in the case.
Yeah, I agree.
Look at the way he's sitting.
Oh, you're so pretty. You're such a gentleman. Just such a gentleman.
He's all...
I'll tell you, the one that I want to do with my cousin coming as our guest.
Right.
That almost could have been a perfect murder.
Right.
Perfect.
I started looking at it, just kind of dipping my toes in it. But yeah, I can't wait to...
And she sent me her theory on what could have happened, what she thinks could have happened to the body. And I'm like, it could have been a perfect murder if they were just a little better. at it and not tweakers. Why is that? Oh.
Be a good boy.
Those eyes. Just so pretty. Just so pretty, boy. All right. Well, that's it. How you feel?
I'm
super glad we're done with this case.
Do you have a pet theory?
The pedophile one, really, I'm liking that one.
Was that the teacher, John Carr? Was John Carr the teacher?
Yeah, I think so. Look at how easily, I'm just so burnt out on it.
Yeah, I know. We've been doing this we started looking at it right after we did the Dahlia.
Yeah, it's like a month or longer. And I was like, every day, I was obsessed about it. I was like, more, I got to figure this out. Like, how can they not know? And I was like, it's a mystery. I got to figure out. Oh, but I do know, because I watch court TV all the time. And now they're doing the George Floyd case. Shit. What is her name?
Breonna Taylor?
No. The mom, the kids, everybody go to hell except for her. She's amazing. She's going to rise to the heavens. Daybell.
Oh.
What the fuck? Dropped. What is his name Daybell too?
Yeah. That's her new last name.
Yeah. That's her new last name. And that case should be, I think, starting in September.
Her lawyer requested that the judge start referring to her as Daybell, Mrs. Daybell. So fuck her. She's still Lori Vallow.
Yeah, she's still Lori fuckhead dumbass.
Yeah.
I would say, so they were talking about the case. It's like going to be a summer case. I don't know if it's going to be like towards the end in September or if that's when it's kicking off. If they say September it's kicking off, that's not a summer case. I think it's starting in the summer and finishing up in September. I don't know. But anyway, September is going to be a big month for that case.
Right. Yeah, I kind of want to wait until the whole
thing's done.
The whole trial's done.
But it is going to be on court TV.
She's like, just letting you know.
Well, we're going to be watching it. You can take that out if you want, but
the play-by-play.
I should get money from Court TV for this. You could sponsor our podcast, Court TV.
We did get a lot of listens already to the JonBenet on the...
Sweet.
Well, not only the podcast, but also on YouTube. Yeah. So...
Sweet.
If you guys have any theories, anything you want to say about this case, like your opinions, like message us. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We have our website, tipsy-talespodcast. Oh my god. Oh wait, hold on. It's tipsy-tales.com.
Yeah. And you can can't you write comments on YouTube and stuff?
Yeah. So YouTube, yeah, definitely, for sure.
Get it on there. I see people have conversations on there all the time. It's just fun to what's your theory? What is your favorite theory, people?
Yeah, and all of our links are on our YouTube page. So if you're ever curious, I know we kind of say them kind of fast sometimes when we're talking about them. So if you're ever curious, they're on our YouTube page.
She's hungry. She's ready for her food.
I want my corned beef. There's no cabbage because we were already drinking beer tonight, and there's corned beef and carrots and potatoes. So that was already.
A lot of people are going to be
risky enough.
A lot of people are going to be farting in bed.
I mean, by the time this comes out next Tuesday, nobody's going to care about St. Patrick's Day. But this is what day we recorded.
We recorded on St. Patrick's Day. You're welcome.
Our green cupcakes and our Guinness beer.
Yeah. I'm so full right now from it.
Oh, it's 9:00.
Well, that's good.
That's actually kind of early for us.
Because tomorrow I'm going for my second vaccine.
Oh.
I'm super
I haven't had
nervous.
mine yet. Are you? Oh, because all the side effects. Possible.
I won't have any.
Possible.
Yeah. And my truck. And I just need to get there and get home safe and sound. And then whatever
I already
happens,
told you
happens.
if you're having trouble with your truck, I can give you a ride.
Okay, I'm gonna go early so that if I have any trouble, I just cannot miss this appointment.
Right.
It is happening no matter what.
It's happening.
If I have to pull up in a tow truck, I'm getting that damn vaccine. I'll deal with whatever happens. I've already been telling Spirit to not let me have side effects.
Hey, I forgot to turn that on today.
Oh,
Our little box. We'll do it on the next one. And we also have something else in the works.
Yes.
You'll find out. You'll find out.
It's a secret.
It's a secret right now.
Yeah, it's a secret.
Shh.
All right, folks. So,
all right, you guys. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Even though it'll be over by the time this drops.
It might be President's Day.
I think that was last month.
It might be.
It just might be
Labor
next
Day
week.
by the time you get it. It might be
the next full moon.
Oh! I bought a candle yesterday called Full Moon.
Really?
Doesn't smell very much. I thought it was going to smell really yummy.
Did you think it was going to smell like the full moon?
I just thought when I smelled it, it had a scent, and then when I lit it, it didn't.
It smells like full moon.
Yeah. So it smells like nothing. It smelled, I can't even tell you what
Not
it
like
smelled
my Calm the Fuck Down candle?
No. No, it's a good thing I bought some other candles because full moon.
You know how much I love candles.
Bought it. Yeah. I love them too. And I bought 4 of them. Okay. I bought one to give my neighbor across the street. And then I also bought her a bottle of wine. But she just had a baby. She's nursing. She's going to be like, it's her first baby. Mm-hmm. By the 3rd one, you're like, I can drink some wine. It filters. But the first one, you're like, no, I'll get my baby drunk. So she's not going to drink that wine, but we will.
Mm-hmm.
And I might keep the candle.
I might keep the candle.
But I bought the baby a gift too.
Okay, well, that's all that counts.
Right. She might not like the candle. So,
it doesn't smell like anything.
Doesn't smell like anything. It might not. It might be like the full moon candle.
Okay.
So what if
light it on the full moon?
I know, that's what I'm doing for my circle in my bathroom. In my bathroom.
It doesn't smell like anything.
It matches. I know, but it matches. I just thought it was great because it's called Full Moon and it's blue, and it would go really good in my bathroom. And I was hoping it would smell. I'll just put the diffuser in there and fake people out. It smells like lemongrass. Yeah, it's that candle.
That's what the full
it's
moon
the full moon.
Smells like.
It smells like lemongrass in the summer.
Also, you had some really cool stuff happen at your house. Not cool. I don't know. I wouldn't classify it as cool.
Usually I'm like, that is cool. This, I'm not thinking it's cool. Dude, I don't like it.
You guys, we might have to put it on on Patreon. Just do a cut and paste.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to show you something after we're done here.
Okay.
All right, hey guys, we're done with you.
We gotta go. Kidding. Gotta go. Bye.
Gotta go. Bye. Anyways.
All right.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.